Since I started coaching people in effective communication and generally people skills, I've heard this just too often. When I step out there, I don't always have anything interesting to say. I feel a little bit anxious. I worry if people are going to like what Shy people have this impression, what is called the spotlight effect, which is the perception, the impression that everybody is looking at me. Give the first tip on how to stop being shy. And for that, I have a recommendation for you. Hello, beautiful people. You are welcome back to the People Skills, the place where we learn to do the ordinary in an extraordinary way so that we can get extraordinary results when it comes to dealing with people. You are an amazing person. I'm sure that you know that. You have a cool, interesting vibe about you when you are in the quiet of your room or of your home. But something generally happens when some people step out there. They are too shy, they feel awkward, they feel uncomfortable. What is it that happens that you would have these interesting things going on, and when you step out there, suddenly you feel like, I don't have anything interesting to say? That is our topic for today. We are going to be covering how to overcome shyness and awkwardness when you step in the social arena so that you can let your true awesome self shine forth. So where does shyness come from? I'll be dropping 5 reasons where shyness comes from as a step to helping you overcoming those particular limitations. And then I'll be dropping tips on how to overcome shyness and awkwardness when you meet and interact with people. So let's get right into it. Shyness, where does it come from? 5 reasons why people can be shy. Number 1, hyper-focus on yourself. Since I started coaching people in effective communication and generally people skills, I've heard this just too often. When I step out there, I don't always have anything interesting to say. I feel a little bit anxious. I worry if people are going to like what I'm going to say, or I worry if people are going to be offended by something that I have to say. That is just because you are focusing too much on yourself and what is going on in your mind. That's the first reason why people are shy. Reason number 2 why people are shy is some people just grew up in a culture, in an environment, in a family where being quiet and reserved was celebrated and being outspoken and expressive was shunned. As a result, you never learned the qualities of how to express yourself and just be comfortable talking about the things that you are generally interested in. Reason number 3 why people can be shy, hyper-isolation. We are living today in a culture of hyper-isolation. We do not engage each other as much. There is too much of texting, too much of non-real-time conversation, and so we don't even learn the skill of how to interact with other people. Too little social engagement is a reason why when you step out there, it feels strange, it feels uncomfortable, it feels like you don't belong. Reason number 4, very important reason. Shy people have this impression, what is called the spotlight effect, which is the perception, the impression that everybody is looking at me. There is a spotlight shining on me as I'm walking down this road, as I'm stepping in this room. Everybody is looking at me. They are all watching and they are judging. And usually the thinking in their minds is not they are judging towards something positive. It's always towards something negative. And because of that, they tend to want to become too small, ball themselves into a small ball, and become invisible. Usually, no one is watching you as much as you think. It's all because you are thinking about yourself too much. You feel other people are thinking about you as much. Reason number 5, and the final reason before we dive into the tips, is, okay, you might have stepped out in the past. You might have actually put yourself out there, be your full, true self, and had an unpleasant experience. Someone said something that was demeaning or something that was just negative, or you were embarrassed or rejected, or something just happened that was unpleasant. And up till today, you can't summon the courage again to step out there and give your true self to the world. Those are some of the reasons. But let's leave that. Now that we understand the reasons, what about how to overcome this limitation? And the first point that I'm going to give, the first tip on how to stop being shy when you engage in social interactions, stop focusing on yourself too much, focus on the environment where you are, focus on other people. What does that look like? Assume we walk into a dinner party. What you want to do is focus on the room. Oh my God, I love the lighting in this place. I think these people did a wonderful job with the decor. Have you seen the flowers? That is a great way to engage conversation. And you are not doing that mentally. You are doing that talking to the person on your left, to the person on your right, to the person across from you on the table. And that way, you are starting a conversation on a positive note and in a way that gets other people interested in you. Because when you talk about positive things, you always appear a little more attractive. Did you know that? So tip number 2, focus on the other person. What does it actually look like? It looks like this. It looks like being curious. It looks like asking them questions. And the beautiful thing about doing that as a shy person especially is that now the focus is not on you, it's on the other person, and you are not trying to have something to talk, you are trying to just get the other person talking. And for that, I have a recommendation for you. Ask unusual questions. What are unusual questions? There are questions that generally get people to answer with more than one word or one sentence. So instead of one word, they are telling a story, they are giving a narration. Example, instead of how was your day, you can say something like, what's the most interesting thing that happened to you today? Or yeah, that gets people talking, and it's usually a story. And instead of, let's say, where did you grow up? You can ask something like, what's the most interesting thing about your childhood? Okay, that gets people talking. Generally, what you want to do is that you want to also focus conversations around subjects and things that you care deeply about, are passionate about, so that you would be engaged and you will be present. Because if you are bored, the other person is bored and they don't even want to talk to you anymore, because who wants to be in the presence of bored people, right? Generally, human beings would rather be upset and annoyed than bored. So feel free, don't censor yourself too much. Don't be too afraid that a question might offend somebody or that they might not be interested. Are you interested? That's the question you need to ask yourself first and foremost. Is this something that I really want to get into? If you do, go right for it. Go right for it. If you are a spiritual person, for instance, do you know you can start a conversation with somebody about spirituality? It can go something like this. What do you think about spirituality? Do you ever wonder about what happens to our souls, like if we even have one? Now that is a deep question, and it's not a usual question, and it can get you talking till time cuts you short. Second, another tip for how not to be shy in the social setting is that stop labeling yourself a shy person. Have a change in perspective, which is super important, because a change in perspective can change everything for you. So you can't say sometimes that I don't always have something to say. But the truth really is that you are more of a listener than a talker. And you are probably a very good listener. So what should you do? Recommendation. When you have done your makeup and done your dress up and you are stepping out there, one thing that you need to do, have your question up. Have your questions that you ask the other person to get them talking, since you are the one who prefers to listen and you are more comfortable listening. But don't fail to do the back and forth in conversation, because conversation should always be seen as a ping pong game where you drop the ball from here, it goes there, it comes back. Maybe you are not keeping it with you for so long, but at least you need to keep it going back and forth. That's secret to dealing and not being shy in public. Final tip for you. I've been saying everything about you being out there, but first of all, you need to be out there, right? So you need to have social goals that put you out there. Instead of text messages, choose phone conversations. Instead of voice notes, choose direct phone conversations. Instead of just being at home, choose a community that has some interest that you share and join. Instead of just always going out by yourself or with other people who feel uncomfortable being out there, choose somebody who knows how to deal and interact with people. Invite them to come with you. Join them where they go to, so that you have a supportive community with you to help you in your learning goals. So those are my tips for how to deal with shyness and awkwardness when you step out there in the social arena. Listen, more is coming on this subject, by the way. I'm working on a video on how to start and keep going and interesting, engaging conversations, and that's going to be coming up in the next episode. So do yourself a favor, and do me a favor, by the way, because I love it when you hit subscribe. I love it when you hit like on my videos. I love it when you drop a comment. So do just that for me. Drop a comment about the tips that you find most applicable for you that you're going to try using immediately. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kizito Nyuytiymbiy. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by. Until next time, it's peace and out.